Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Leaders Dialogue Show. Today we are looking on an entrepreneur and the risk the entrepreneur takes. What are the reality checks when we are taking a loan? I think we can pick it from there.
Yeah, like we were saying before the break,
Yes.
no business, hardly any business will grow without capital. And the business itself will not have generated the capital.
Yes.
So you must get the capital from somewhere.
Yes.
Either from a rich father who entrusts you with the money, so it's still borrowed money, or from a rich uncle who gives you the money.
Yes.
But money must have come from somewhere other than the business itself when you started it.
Yes.
So there is an alternative to having to get capital from somewhere.
Yes.
So let's be understood.
Yeah.
Number two, it needs to be understood that the Bible is not against borrowing money.
No.
The Bible, it says, owe no man anything except love. It's not talking about borrowing. It's talking about outstanding loans. It needs to be understood that the Bible is against you having an outstanding loan. You know, if you ask me, Brother John, give me 1,000 shillings, I'll pay you on Tuesday. Even if it's on Sunday,
Yeah.
you have your friends. We'll just be jumping and enjoying each other. If you don't give me the money on Tuesday,
Yes.
on Wednesday, utakuwa ukinepa. You'll be, what has changed?
Yes.
It has stopped being just a loan. It's now, you are now indebted.
Yes.
You are having an outstanding loan.
Yes.
And that's what the Bible is against.
Yes.
You should never have outstanding loans. If committing adultery is a sin, having outstanding loans is also a sin.
That's true.
Even if that money belongs to a bank. It's not right to take a loan which you are not paying,
Yes.
and you are not even sorting out. You know, the banks normally suggest if you're having challenges paying the loan, you go and declare it. Then they do what the bankers call rescheduling of the loans. If you are to pay it in 2 years,
Yeah.
they will allow you to pay in 5 years. That way the monthly repayment will go down, but of course the interest will be higher.
Yes.
So they are happy because you end up paying them more money.
More money.
But then you will be relieved. But you can't sit there to wait until they come hunting for you with the dogs.
Yes.
No, so it's important. A Christian cannot run away from a debt he has taken. So, but how do you ensure you don't end up not paying? The first thing you are talking about is you must not take a loan for niceties.
Nice.
Take loans for something that's a business which you will pay back. Don't take a loan to go and pay your dowry. Because a wife is not an investment.
Yes.
No. So don't take a loan to buy a dress
No.
unless you are selling the dress.
Yeah.
If you are wearing it,
Yes.
take a loan on something which you can turn around. You will get an income profit out of it,
Yes.
which you the profit out of the profit.
Yeah.
You pay back the loan.
That's true.
So as an entrepreneur, ask, if I get this money, how will this money help to increase my profit? If the answer is yes,
Yes.
it will help increase my profit.
Yeah.
By how much?
Yes.
Then you can see how the kind of increase in profit is such that you'll be able to pay the loan.
Yes.
That's the way to assess
Yeah.
whether to take the loan
No.
or not. But you also agreed,
Yeah.
you must, however attractive the terms are, you need to be very careful that you do not put a collateral. Because they're asking for something to show, if you don't pay me, what will I touch? Don't give your daughter as a collateral. She'll be made a slave.
Yes.
So it's important that the collateral is always something you're going to. So my recommendation is,
Yes.
and even for me and my wife, whenever we have taken a loan, we start by making an assumption.
Yeah.
Number one,
Yes.
this will be the benefit of the loan. And we can see, that's good.
Yeah.
Number two, if in the worst case scenario, we are unable to pay, this will happen to us.
That's true.
If we cannot see what to do, then we don't take the loan.
Yeah.
That risk is now too much of a risk.
Mm.
You cannot tell me you are still taking a risk, yet you can see inability to pay will make you dead. That's not a good risk.
Yes.
So do not take a loan on this second point. Do not take a loan until you make an assumption.
Yeah.
In the worst case scenario, you're unable to pay.
Yes.
You calculate, analyze what will happen. And if what will happen is something you can't live with,
Yes.
don't take the loan.
Don't take
That's why we are saying you can't take a loan on a house where you're living. Because what they will come, they'll just come and throw your things on the road.
Yeah, that's true.
Where will you go?
No, yeah. Yeah.
So don't take such a loan.
No, no, no.
Number three, if you are taking a loan, ask yourself whether there are alternatives. And there are several alternatives in capital, in raising capital.
Yes.
One of them is taking the loan. The other one is creating a joint venture.
Joint venture.
3 or 4 of you begin the same company.
Yes.
So therefore you are sharing the risk. So you can see that your risk you can manage. The other guy, you still have the total, business
Yes.
going,
Yeah.
but now nobody is taking too big a risk. If the thing works, of course your profit will be shared between the 3 of you.
Yes.
But then the business could grow
Yeah.
to where all of you are getting good money.
Yes.
So it's also possible to have a way of sharing the risk instead of simply just taking a risk that's too big for you to bite.
Yes.
But then the next way is in that risk analysis is to decide to start small and grow big.
Start small and grow big.
Yeah. Why can't you start a small company where the solution is only to a village rather than set up a big magnificent thing
Yeah.
without a test period? So start small
Yes.
at the level of your income, then keep plowing back all the profit back. It will be big until the business itself will be a collateral.
That's true.
So it will not touch your other assets.
Yeah.
So its business itself will be the collateral. And at that point, it means that in the worst case scenario, if you are unable to pay, the bank will just take your business.
Yes.
So it will not affect your other assets.
Yes. Yes.
So that's the way to analyze. And in analyzing like that, you are able to arrive at, yes, I'm taking a loan,
Yes.
but even in the worst case scenario, this is what I will do. And it will help me to. But let me say that this issue of loans
Loans.
is something that you need to understand. When I left the university,
Yes.
it was very difficult to get a loan from the bank. To see the bank manager was very difficult.
Yes.
Something in the last 20 years has changed.
Yes.
The banks are now looking for you.
To get the money.
I keep getting from Safaricom, I get a message. I get from Barclays, get another message.
Yeah.
Get from Equity, another message. All of them pleading with me to take a loan. So that the young people we are dealing with are going through a totally different thing from the things those of us who left the university in 1970s.
Yes.
We never got that.
Yes.
To get a loan was very difficult.
Yes.
Now it's so easy to get a loan that you are likely to get a loan
Yeah.
which you don't need
Yes.
to impress people who don't care.
Yes.
So it's important to now be more careful.
That's
Now that it's much easier to get a loan, be careful. Understand that the basis of money lending is making money. Remember a bank, I go and say put my money there.
Yes.
I expect interest.
Yes.
How can get interest unless they get somebody to borrow?
They must.
So borrowing
Yes.
is a critical aspect
Yes.
in banks.
Yes.
So then understand that every time you borrow from them, they want to make money out of you. So if you are not making money out of their money, why are you taking their money? You are not very clever.
That's true.
You must, before taking the money from the bank, you must see that your investment will give you 20%, but they're asking you only for 15%. Therefore, you will get 15% of them. Otherwise, you can very easily take a loan and reach the bank and you get nothing.
Yes. That's true.
So that's why I thought I need to spend a bit of time and mention
Yeah.
that entrepreneurs must understand that.
Yes.
The danger of trying to get big so quickly because money is available is the one likely to end up pushing you to where your business will never take off. I think the other thing that I think will be very important is market research.
Market research.
Before you can see a solution, but why can't you ask somebody who is an expert to go to the market and test the market?
Yes. That's true.
Because business rise and fall on on how much the customer accept or reject your product.
That's true.
So instead of borrowing money to create something big production, why don't you first of all come up with your product, come up with your service, and then do a proper research to get to gauge how many people initially are likely to like your product, and out of that, what's the risk? If you do that, then by the time you are borrowing money, you already know how you repay it. It reduces your risk. So do not, just because you are good at producing an item, it doesn't mean the customer will get it. You know what they normally say is that many entrepreneurs are copycats. I begin a kiosk, you begin a kiosk, so and so begin a kiosk, the other one begin a kiosk. Initially, my business proposal was okay. But my customers now see had between 5 people. I can't make any money. And you can't make money either. All of us will collapse. Now, it's important that our entrepreneurs become creative and therefore do things that will be unique enough to produce money out of the business.
Excellent. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We trust that on the loan issues we'll be more wise and we will calculate our risk before taking the loan. And we are so much grateful, Mr. John Ng'ang'a, for finding time to be with us. And keep forwarding your comments on our Twitter page at Leaders Dialogue Show and our Facebook page at Leaders Dialogue. Till next Monday, keep glowing as a leader. Thank you so much.
We are the new generation. We are the youth of the nation. High in the sky. We are the new generation. Leader.